At 7:42 on a rainy day Tuesday morning, Emily Carter was standing in her kitchen, starting at a cup of coffee she had forgotten to drink. Her laptop was open on the counter. 3 emails needed replies, 2 meetings were already scheduled, and her phone would not stop vibrating. Emily was 34-year-old, lived in a beautiful apartment in Chicago, had a successful career, and had somehow convinced herself that being busy meant she was doing well. Then her phone rang. It was her mother. Emily almost ignored it. She had a presentation in 20 minutes, but something made her answer, "Mom." There was silence on the other end. Then her mother's trembling voice, "Emily, it's Dad." Emily froze. What happened? Her mother took a breath. "He's gone." The coffee cup slipped from Emily's hand. It hit the floor and shattered. For several seconds, Emily could not speak. Her father, Daniel Carter, had always seemed impossible to lose. He was the man who fixed everything: broken doors, dead car batteries, leaky faucets, bad days. And when Emily was a child, he used to say, "Whenever life gets too heavy, sweetheart, call Dad." She had believed him until she stopped calling. Emily drove 6 hours through heavy rain to the small town in Michigan, where she had grown up. She had not been home in almost 11 months. Her mother was waiting on the porch when Emily arrived. They hugged without saying anything. Inside the house, everything looked exactly the same. The old wooden clock still hung above the fireplace. Her father's work boots were still beside the back door. His reading glasses sat on the kitchen table, and beside them was a yellow sticky note. Emily picked it up. It said, "Buy milk." She smiled through her tears. "Typical Dad," she whispered. That evening, Emily walked into her father's garage. The smell of wood, motor oil, and sawdust immediately brought back childhood memories. On the workbench was an unfinished wooden birdhouse. Her mother appeared behind her. "He was making that for you." Emily looked at her. "For me." Her mother nodded. "He said you needed something to remind you that home is not a place you visit." Emily looked away. She could not hold back her tears. The next morning, while cleaning the garage, Emily discovered a small cardboard box hidden beneath an old workbench. Her name was written on the top, Emily. She opened it. Inside were dozens of envelopes, one for every birthday she had missed with them, one for every Christmas she had spent somewhere else, one for the day she had gotten her first promotion, one for the day she had moved to Chicago, and one simply labeled, "For the day you finally come home." Emily sat down the garage floor. He had stumbled as they opened it. Inside was a letter. "My sweet Emily, if you are reading this, you are probably wondering why I kept writing letters instead of calling. The truth is, I knew you were very busy. I did not want to become another thing on your to-do list. But I want you to remember something. Your life is not measured by how many things you accomplish. It's measured by who get to share those moments with you. Don't wait until someone is gone to realize how much you love them. Love, Dad." Emily pressed the letter against her chest. For the first time in years, she allowed herself to cry, the little girl who used to run into her father's arms after falling off her bicycle. That afternoon, Emily found an old photograph. She was 8 years old. Her father was kneeling beside her. They were standing next to a bicycle. Emily remembered that day. She had been terrified to ride without training wheels. I can't do it, she had cried. Her father had smiled. You don't have to know how to ride yet. But what if I fall? Then I will be here. When you fall, Emily looked at the photograph. She suddenly remembered what happened next. Her father had slowly let go of the bicycle. She had ridden 10 feet, then 20, then 50. She had turned around and shouted, Dad, look! But he was not holding the bicycle anymore. He was standing several feet behind her, smiling. Emily had been angry. You let go? Her father laughed. I knew you could do it. She smiled through her tears. Back then, she had thought her father had simply taught her how to ride a bicycle. Now she understood he had been teaching her how to live. That night, Emily could not sleep. She opened her phone. Her father's contact was still there. Dad. She started at it. Then she pressed call. The phone rang once, twice, 3 times. Then voicemail. Emily began crying before the beep. Hi, Dad. Silence. I know you can't answer, she aloud. I just wanted to tell you something. Her voice broke. I am sorry. She looked towards the window. I am sorry. I kept saying I was busy. I am sorry I thought there would always be another weekend. I am sorry I thought you would always be there. She wiped her tears and Dad just smiled sadly. Thank you. She ended the call. Then she noticed something. Her father's old phone was sitting on the dresser. Her mother had kept it. Emily picked it up. There was one unheard voicemail. Unheard voicemail. The date was 3 weeks before his death. Emily pressed play. Emily pressed play. Her father's voice filled the room. Hey, sweetheart. Emily closed her eyes. Feel it. I know you are probably working. A small laugh. Just wanted to hear your voice, but I figured I had leave you a message. There was a pause. I saw the moon tonight. You used to love looking at it when you were little. Another pause. Anyway, call me when you get a chance. Then his voice became softer. Love you, kiddo. The recording ended. Emily replayed it again and again and again. The following Sunday, Emily sat at the family dinner table. There were only 3 chairs occupied, her mother Emily and her father's empty chair. Her mother placed a plate in front of Emily. Your father would complain that you are not eating enough? Emily smiled. Hey, that it quietly. After dinner, Emily looked at the empty chair. Mom, yes. Was Dad happy? Her mother thought for a moment. Yes. Even at the end, her mother nodded. He talked about you. Emily looked down. What did he say? Her mother smiled. He said you were building a wonderful life. Emily's eyes filled with tears. But I was not there. Her mother reached across the table. Emily, your father never wanted you to feel guilty for leaving. She squeezed her hand. He wanted you to remember to leave. 3 days later, Emily returned to Chicago. She went back to work, back to meetings, back to deadlines, back to the life she had built. But something had changed. During lunch, her phone rang. It was her mother. Emily answered immediately. Hi, Mom. Her mother laughed. You're actually answering. Emily smiled. Always. That evening, Emily walked through the apartment. She looked around. Everything was expensive. Everything was beautiful. But suddenly, it felt strangely empty. She walked to her desk, opened her laptop and typed an email. Then she stopped. She deleted it. Instead, she called her manager. I need to talk to you. The next morning, Emily asked to move to a position that required less travel. She would earn less money, she would have fewer impressive meetings, she would probably miss out on a promotion, but she would have time for her mother, time for friends, time for herself, time for the people she loved. Her manager asked, "Are you sure?" Emily thought about her father's letters, then smiled. Yes, for the first time in years, she was not choosing what looked successful, she was choosing what felt meaningful. Months later, Emily returned to Michigan. She brought the finished birdhouse from her father's garage. She spent an entire Saturday finishing it. She painted it blue, then she placed it in the backyard. Her mother watched from the porch. "You know," she said, "your father would have made fun of that paint job." Emily laughed. "I know." A small bird landed on the roof. Emily smiled. "Maybe he sent someone." Her mother laughed. "Maybe." They stood together in silence. Then Emily looked at the birdhouse. She finally understood the message her father had left behind. He had not built a perfect life, he had built a meaningful one. A year after her father's death, Emily started a small tradition. Every Sunday evening, she called someone she loved, sometimes her mother, sometimes an old friend, sometimes someone she had not spoken to in years. She never waited for a special occasion. She simply called. One Sunday, her childhood friend Sarah answered. "Emily, what's wrong?" Emily laughed. "Nothing's wrong." "Then why are you calling?" Emily looked out her window. The moon was shining above Chicago. "I just wanted to hear your voice." Sarah became quiet. Then she smiled. "Okay." They talked for nearly an hour about work, about childhood, about dreams, about nothing and everything. When the call ended, Emily looked at the moon. She remembered her father's voicemail. "I saw the moon tonight." Emily smiled. "Me too, Dad." Years later, Emily had a daughter of her own. One evening, her little girl came running into the backyard. "Mom." Emily turned around. "What? Look." Her daughter was holding a small wooden birdhouse. "Grandpa made this." Emily nodded. "Yes, before I was born. Yes." Did he love me?" Emily knelt beside her daughters. She smiled. "He loved you before he ever met you." Her daughter hugged her. Emily closed her eyes. For a moment, she could almost hear her father's voice. "Whenever life gets too heavy, sweetheart, call Dad." Emily smiled. Then she whispered, "I know, Dad." She looked up at the sky, and I finally learned the lesson. The camera slowly pulls away. The mother and daughter stand beneath the evening sky. The little bluebird house hangs from the tree. A bird lands on its roof, and the screen fades to black. Now, the life lesson. Sometimes we spend so much time building a life that we forget to actually live it. The people we love may not always be there, so call them, visit them, listen to them, forgive them, tell them you love them. Don't wait for the last voicemail. Thank you from Ghibli Mom Tales. Thank you so much for spending your precious time with us. If the story touched your heart, reminded you of someone or you love, or made you pause for a moment and smile, then our little story has found its purpose. Remember, life is not about having more time. It's about making time for the people who matter. If you enjoyed this story, please like, share and subscribe to Ghibli Mom Tales for more heartfelt stories, beautiful moments and meaningful life lessons. Until we meet again in another story, take care of your loved ones, say I love you and never wait for tomorrow. With love, Ghibli Mom Tales. Good night.